The pen was warm in Ambassador Lena Okonkwo's hand. It arrived 47 minutes ago. A Xylorian courier carried it across 12 light years. The courier wouldn't meet her eyes, wouldn't speak. Just placed the diplomatic pouch on the table and left. The pouch was still warm. The pen was still warm. 12 light years of retained heat. The galactic Concord chamber rose 200 meters above her. Pale stone columns. Empty seats circling like judges at a trial that hadn't started yet. The human delegation's platform sat 18 inches lower than the Cathari Empire's elevated throne. Not a mistake. Architecture was politics, and politics was power, and power was the only language the Empire understood. Lena counted the empty seats. 18 species, 18 witnesses, 18 judges who would not speak. 18 species who had watched the Empire commit atrocity after atrocity and done nothing. She touched her reading glasses chain. Cool metal, a habit from 40 years of diplomacy. The chain had belonged to her mother. Her mother had learned negotiation from her grandmother. The chain had seen 3 generations of Empire bullying. It had never broken. It would not break today. High Commander Vorthak stood on 7 legs of polished black chitin. His mandibles clicked when he spoke. His voice was amplified by design. It filled the chamber like a second gravity well. He was 8 feet tall on his back 4 legs. His 3 yellow eye stripes pulsed in slow rhythm. He had survived 3 assassination attempts. He had committed 12 genocides. He had broken 47 treaties. He was about to break one more. The so-called St. Catherine's Home, or Orbital Facility Designation, SC-2291B, was not a valid military target. He paused. Let the words settle. Let the chamber feel the weight of what he was about to say. However, our scans detected 3 unregistered power signatures. Your fault, your negligence, your 143 dead. He smiled. The Empire regrets the necessity. 143. Lena knew each number, each name, each age. The youngest was 4. She liked to draw animals with chalk, giraffes mostly. She had never seen a giraffe in real life. The oldest was 63, Fatima Hassan. She sang while she cleaned. She had been at St. Catherine's Home for 41 years. She knew every child's name, every birthday, every favorite food. Lena counted the silence. 8 seconds. 8 seconds where 18 species watched. A Xylorian diplomat lowered all 4 eyes. A Vernac delegate's breathing went shallow. Somewhere above, a Vreen glider's wings twitched once, then went still. The Thalen acoustics pressed their sound-sensing membranes flat against their skulls. The Pelorian weavers stopped breathing entirely. No guard stopped her. No delegate spoke. No one even breathed. The silence stretched. 9 seconds, 10, 11. Then the High Commander spoke again. Humanity will accept the Empire's advisory custodianship. All 12 billion humans relocated to 3 designated agricultural worlds. Sign the treaty. He pushed a data slate toward her platform. It clattered on the stone. Now, Lena Okonkwo finished writing on her notepad. Gray hair in a bun, reading glasses on a chain. 61 years old. She folded her hands over the warm pen. The pen that had traveled 12 light years. The pen that was still warm. The pen that would write the end of an empire. High Commander, I've made 3 minor corrections. His mandibles clicked. The bitter oil scent of Cathari anger started leaking from his glands. His eye stripes pulsed faster. Clause 47, Subclause 12. Your timeline for relocation assumes faster-than-light transport capacity you don't possess. She turned the notepad toward his aide. Clause 89's liability waiver is creative, and you misspelled Geneva, Geneva twice. She stood. She walked toward the exit at a normal pace. Not fast, not slow, just a woman leaving a room where she had been told to surrender. Behind her, a Vreen delegate whispered. They just smiled. The chamber doors closed. Somewhere, a kettle was already boiling. 1,240, 7 days earlier. Lena sips Earl Grey. Milk, no sugar. The mug is cracked along the rim. 213 years old. Her grandmother's. The crack had been there since Lena was a child. Her grandmother said it gave the mug character. Said the best things in life had cracks. Said perfection was boring. She holds a photograph. St. Catherine's home, the original one, on Earth. 213 years ago, before the orbital expansion, before the war, before the empire, the building was small, red brick. A garden out back where children grew vegetables. A kitchen where the smell of bread never stopped. Her grandmother was child number 47. Lena places the photograph on the table, opens a drawer. Inside, folders, 47 of them, each one a treaty, each one a promise the empire made and broke, each one a weapon waiting to be aimed. She writes in her calendar. She does this every day. 3 years, 5 months, 8 days. That's how long she's been waiting. She takes another sip. The tea is still hot. Outside her window, a cargo ship lifts off. Human-made, human-crewed, carrying grain to a colony the empire had forgotten existed. The ship's registry didn't matter. The cargo didn't matter. What mattered was the route. The route passed through Cathari space. The route was legal. The route had been legal for 47 years. Lena closed the folder marked Route 847. 847 routes. 847 legal pathways through Cathari space. 847 ways to strangle an empire without firing a shot. She smiled, small, genuine, almost gentle. Her grandmother would have approved. 3 months later, the room is smaller now. Different building, same photograph, same cracked mug, same calendar on the wall with days crossed out in red ink. The calendar had started empty. Now it was almost full. 3 years, 5 months, 8 days of waiting. 5 people sit around the table. Dr. Aris Thorne is 71 years old. He wears the same suit he's worn for 40 years. The elbows are shiny. The cuffs are frayed. His sentences are clipped. He doesn't waste words. He never has. He once gave a 3-hour lecture on treaty law using only 400 words. The 2039 Refugee Accord is the nuclear option. Commander Elena Rostova has 19 scars. She got them in a Cathari prison camp. She doesn't talk about it. She doesn't need to. Her left hand shakes when she's angry. It's not shaking now. She points at 3 folders. Her finger is steady. 9 treaties have mutual consent clauses. 3 have material breach provisions. Marcus Webb memorized 47,000 treaty pages. He doesn't make eye contact. He speaks in numbers, always numbers. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't have to meet your eyes. 14,782 transaction pathways. 3.2 billion credits. That's what we can freeze. Master Sergeant Jamal Cole lost both legs at 22. He runs a bakery now. His voice is warm, unhurried. The kind of voice that belongs in a kitchen, not a war room. The kind of voice that makes you want to sit down and stay a while. Every human agricultural colony, every mining outpost, every cargo depot. He smiles. The smile of a man who has seen war and chosen bread instead. 847 locations. 847 ovens. Priya Singh is 34, mother of 2. She asks the question everyone else is avoiding. She always asks the hard questions. That's why Lena brought her. That's why Priya was here instead of at home with her children. What happens to our children when we do this? Lena places the photograph in the center of the table. The empire just killed 143 of them. Silence. The kind of silence that fills a room and makes it hard to breathe. Marcus, status on the economic intercept model. Ready 11 months ago, ma'am. We've been refining. Elena, the 12 treaties. All 12 voidable. Jamal, the baker's network. The one-legged man leans forward. His wheelchair creaks. The sound is familiar, comforting, like a kettle boiling. 847 little surprises. Lena pours more tea. The steam rises. She watches it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Then let's void every treaty. Starting at 0800 tomorrow. No one argued. No one asked if they were sure. They had been sure for 3 years, 5 months, 8 days. 6 hours later, Elder Veth requests a private meeting. The myceli are fungal. They live for 1700 years. Their voices are warm contraltos, genderless, patient. They keep archives of everything, every treaty, every genocide, every broken promise, every orphanage, every name. Elder Veth places a data crystal on the table. The crystal is old. The edges are worn. It has been handled by many hands over many centuries. I read your grandmother's diary. She survived the bombing of Mombasa. 3,847 dead, 212 of them children. The elder's voice softens, becomes something like a mother's voice, something like a grandmother's. She wrote, "The world will forget your orphans unless you build a kitchen they can never take away." Lena's hand touches her reading glasses chain, the chain that belonged to her mother, the mother who learned from the grandmother who survived Mombasa. "The Myceli will not fight," Elder Veth continues, "but we will interpret your legal filings in the order you request, and we will make sure every other species sees the Empire's signature on the original treaty first." Lena nods. "How many species?" "7, counting yours. The others?" The elder's fungal tendrils twitch. It might be amusement, it might be grief, it might be both. "The Zalorian remnant, 81 survivors of an Empire genocide. They speak in whispers now, but they remember. They remember every name, every child, every scream." Lena waits. "The Vernac dredgers, mining species, enslaved for 300 years. They have 4 eyes. They will lower all of them when you speak, not from fear, from respect. The Vreen gliders have been blockaded for 47 years. They have not laughed in 47 years. Elder Veth pauses, lets the weight of that settle. "The Pelorian weavers. The Empire holds 12,000 of their children as economic hostages. They have not smiled in 47 years. "The Thalen acoustics. They speak the forgotten language of treaty law. They have been waiting for someone to ask for their help since before your grandmother was born." Lena stands, walks to a small oven in the corner of the room, opens it. Bread fresh, warm, crusty. The smell fills the room. Yeast and flour and heat and patience. She cuts 7 slices, places them on a plate, humanity's oldest weapon. She pushes the plate toward the elder. "You can't trace yeast. You can't regulate flour, and everyone needs to eat." The Pelorian weavers who have not smiled in 47 years laugh. It sounds like rustling silk. It sounds like hope. 0800, Galactic Standard Time. The Economic Tribunal is smaller than the Conquered Chamber. Less architecture, more computers, more screens, more numbers, more witnesses. Lena submits 47 pages. Each page voids 1 treaty. The Cathari Empire has 19 hours to respond. A Vernac dredger watches from the gallery, all 4 eyes lowered, not from fear, from respect. His species had been enslaved for 300 years. He had never seen anyone stand up to the Empire before. A Vreen glider's wings twitch, not from anxiety, from anticipation. 47 years of blockade, 47 years of hunger, 47 years of watching their children starve. Maybe that would end now. 81 Zalorian survivors sit in a row. They do not whisper, they do not speak, they just watch. Their eyes are old. Their eyes have seen too much. Their eyes are the eyes of a species that had been reduced to 81 survivors. Lena sits down, pours tea. The mug is still cracked, the tea is still hot, the waiting continues. 0918. Elder Veth files an amicus brief. 12,000 pages of historical evidence. Every Cathari treaty violation for 300 years, every broken promise, every genocide. Every orphanage they pretended was a military target, every lie they told, every child they killed. The Thalen acoustics speak for the first time in public in 70 years. Their voices are dry, precise, each word a citation, each citation a death sentence for the Empire's credibility. Page 4712. The Cathari Empire signed the Refugee Protection Accord in Galactic Year 2317. Article 12, Section 3 prohibits the targeting of civilian orbital facilities. 0919. Marcus Webb activates the economic intercept model. His fingers move across the console. He doesn't look up. He doesn't need to. He memorized the sequence 11 months ago. He had dreamed about it. He had practiced it in his sleep. Every Cathari trade route through human-claimed space is rerouted. 847 of them. Every Cathari cargo ship carrying food is inspected, legally, under a treaty the Empire signed 12 years ago and forgot about. 391 ships. Every inspection takes 17 minutes. The Empire's supply chain was built on just-in-time delivery. They did not plan for 17-minute delays. A Vreen glider laughs. The first laugh in 47 years. It sounds like wind through broken glass. It sounds like the beginning of something. 11:42. The Cathari banking system freezes. No alarms, no gunfire, no screaming. Just 14,782 transaction pathways. Terminated. 3.2 billion credits. Frozen. A Pelorian weaver cries. Not from sadness. From relief. 12,000 children might come home now. 12,000 children might see their parents again. 12,000 children might grow up in a world without the Empire's boot on their necks. Lena drinks tea throughout, does not raise her voice, does not smile, does not stop watching the clock. The clock ticks, the tea cools, the Empire burns. 14:03. Her screen flickers. Incoming call. High Commander Vorthak's mandibles click. His eye stripes pulse yellow-orange. Bitter oil leaks from his scent glands. Even through translation she can smell his fury, his confusion, his fear. The smell is sour, desperate. The smell of a predator who has suddenly realized it is prey. Ambassador. She takes a sip, Earl Grey, lukewarm now. She holds the mug with both hands. Grandmother's ceramic, crack along the rim, 213 years old. The crack had been there since Lena was a child. Her grandmother said it gave the mug character. Said the best things in life had cracks. Said perfection was boring. The treaty. You attacked an orphanage, High Commander. His eye stripes pulse faster. His mandibles click faster. His legs scrabble on the elevated platform. The platform that was 18 inches higher than hers. The platform that meant nothing now. Humanity has been smiling about it for 19 hours. She places the mug down, picks up the pen, still warm from the morning's pouches, still warm from 12 light years of travel, still warm from the hand of a courier who wouldn't meet her eyes. You have 47 minutes to figure out which treaty protects you next. She pauses, because we just voided all of them. Click. She ends the call, takes another sip. Cold now, still drinks. Somewhere in the building, a kettle is still boiling. No one has gone to turn it off. The steam rises against dark glass. Outside somewhere, an oven door closes. The building was quiet now. No screens, no delegates, no treaties waiting to be signed, just the hum of old lights and the smell of tea that had gone cold hours ago. The silence was different now, not the silence of fear, the silence of something finished. Elder Veth stood by a window. Her fungal tendrils caught the starlight. Outside, ships moved in slow patterns. Cargo vessels, diplomatic couriers, nothing military. No one was shooting. No one was screaming. That was the victory, the quietest victory in galactic history. A young myceli assistant waited behind her, patient. 1,700 years of patience distilled into one young body. The assistant's name was Veth 10. The elder had trained 10 assistants over her lifetime. This one was the slowest to learn, also the most curious. Curiosity took time. The elder had plenty of that. Do you see? The elder said. Veth 10 tilted its head, the fungal equivalent of a question. The Empire is standing on a board with no rules, no allies, and 847 bakeries they never thought to inspect. The assistant's tendrils curled, thinking, processing. What happens now, Elder? Veth's voice was warm, almost amused. She had seen empires rise and fall. She had seen species burn themselves out. She had never seen anyone weaponize bread before. She made a note in her personal archive. Future generations would need to know about this. Now humanity asks politely for their children's bodies to be returned. And when the Empire refuses, the Elder's tendrils twitched, a laugh maybe, a sad one. The humans will smile again, and the Empire will learn what it means to be truly alone. Veth 10 looked at the window, at the ships, at the stars, at the long dark between them. How long will that take? 47 hours. Exactly. Humans like exact numbers. It helps them wait. The Empire did not refuse. The Empire demanded a private channel first. Demanded explanations. demanded the banking freeze lifted before they would discuss anything, demanded humanity surrender, demanded humanity apologize, demanded humanity forget. Lena drank tea through all of it. Cold tea, lukewarm tea, tea that had been sitting for hours while diplomats screamed at each other across light years. The mug was still cracked. The rim was still chipped. She didn't care. The mug had survived 213 years. It would survive this. She did not raise her voice. She did not argue. She just waited. Her glasses chain hung loose around her neck. She touched it sometimes, not from stress, from memory. Her mother had touched the same chain during the bombing of Mombasa. Her grandmother had touched it during the first Cathari invasion. The chain had seen 3 generations of waiting. It would see a 4th. The Empire's supply lines were still frozen. 391 cargo ships still sitting in inspection bays. Each inspection took 17 minutes. Each minute cost the Empire 47,000 credits in spoiled goods. The math was simple. The math was brutal. The math had been planned for 3 years, 5 months, 8 days. 847 trade routes still rerouted. 3.2 billion credits still locked. The Empire could not feed its colonies. The Empire could not pay its soldiers. The Empire could not move its ships. Marcus Webb watched the numbers drop. He didn't smile. He didn't cheer. He just counted. The numbers were his language. The numbers were his God. The numbers were telling him the Empire was dying. 17 hours after the banking freeze, High Commander Vorthak's mandibles clicked differently, slower, quieter. The bitter oil smell was gone, replaced by something else. Something that might have been exhaustion, something that might have been defeat. We will return the bodies. Lena placed her mug down. All 143. A pause, his eye stripes pulsed once, twice, 3 times. The rhythm was irregular, unstable. All 143. And Fatima Hassan, the caretaker. She was 63 years old. She sang while she cleaned. She had been at St. Catherine's home for 41 years. She knew every child's name, every birthday, every favorite food. She made bread every morning at 4 a.m. The children would wake up to the smell. They would come downstairs still sleepy, still in their pajamas. She would give them warm bread and tell them stories. Vorthak's mandibles clicked once. A single click, surrender. She will be returned. Lena nodded. She didn't thank him. Thanking was for people who deserved it. He didn't. The transports will arrive at these coordinates in 47 hours. Unarmed, unescorted. You will not scan them. You will not approach them. You will place the bodies on the cargo bay and withdraw to minimum safe distance. That is not standard procedure. Standard procedure died when your scans detected 3 unregistered power signatures in an orphanage. Click. She ended the call. Somewhere a kettle started boiling again. 47 hours later. A small room on Earth. No cameras, no diplomats, no generals, just 143 candles. The room had been a kitchen once. 100 years ago, before the war, before the Empire, before anyone had heard of the Cathari, before the galaxy learned to fear. The kitchen had been converted into a memorial. The stove was still there. The oven was still there. Someone had baked bread that morning. The smell hung in the air like a promise, like a memory, like a weapon waiting to be used. Lena stood at the front. Her gray hair was loose now. No bun, no reading glasses, just a woman in a worn cardigan holding a piece of paper with 143 names. The paper was old, yellowed. It had been folded and unfolded 100 times. Her grandmother had written the first name. Lena had added the rest. 143 names, 143 lives, 143 reasons to keep fighting. The room held families, parents who had lost children, siblings who had lost brothers and sisters, a husband who had lost a wife of 41 years. He sat in the back row, alone. His hands were folded in his lap. He wasn't crying, not anymore. He had no tears left. Jamal Cole sat in his wheelchair near the back, a tray of bread on his lap. No one was eating yet. The bread was still warm. The bread would wait. The bread was patient. Alina Rostova stood by the door. Her left hand shook. She didn't hide it anymore. 19 scars. 19 reasons to hate the Empire. She had told Lena once that she stopped counting the reasons after the first year, after the first 100, after the first 1,000. Marcus Webb sat in the corner. He was counting something. No one asked what. Numbers helped him stay still. Numbers helped him not think about the children. Numbers helped him not think about the names. Priya Singh held her 2 children, one on each hip. They were too old for that, 7 and 9. They should have been embarrassed. They weren't. Their mother had told them about St. Catherine's home, about the children who didn't come home, about the children who would never be too old to be held. Lena lit the first candle. Fatima Hassan, age 63. She liked to sing while she cleaned. She knew every child's name. She made bread every morning at 4 a.m. She extinguished the flame. The smoke rose, thin, gray, gone. Aisha Okonkwo, age 4. She liked to draw animals with chalk. Her favorite animal was a giraffe. She had never seen one in real life. She drew them anyway. Another candle gone. Marcus Webb, no relation to our Marcus, age 11. He wanted to be a pilot. He had already built 3 model ships. His father was a cargo pilot. His mother was an engineer. They both died in the war. Another candle. The candles died one by one. Each flame represented a name. Each name represented a life. Each life represented something the Empire could never give back, could never repay, could never forget. Lena read for 47 minutes. 47 minutes of names. 47 minutes of silence between each name. 47 minutes of smoke rising toward a ceiling that had seen 3 generations of human grief. When the last candle went dark, the room was silent. Not the silence of fear, not the silence of grief. The silence of something heavier. Something that had been waiting for 213 years. Something that had been building in kitchens and bakeries and cargo bays. Something that had finally found its voice. Lena placed her grandmother's photograph on the table. St. Catherine's home, the original one, red brick, garden out back, kitchen where the smell of bread never stopped. The photograph was 213 years old. The edges were frayed. The colors had faded, but the building was still there. The kitchen was still there. The oven was still there. She picked up a small stone, gray, smooth, worn by years of rain. The stone had come from the garden of the original St. Catherine's home. She had walked there herself. 3 years, 5 months, 8 days ago, before she started counting, before she started waiting, before she became the person she was now. We named this room the Fatima Hassan Memorial. She placed the stone on a cairn. The cairn had started as nothing, just a pile of stones she had been collecting for 3 years, 5 months, 8 days. Each stone came from a different human world. Each stone represented a promise. The promise that no child would be forgotten. The promise that no atrocity would go unanswered. The promise that the Empire would pay. We named this day the Day of Long Patience. Another stone, and we remember that the Empire killed 143 people. Another stone, and awakened 12 billion. Jamal Cole wheeled forward, 2 mugs of tea in his hands. The mugs were chipped. They were old. They had belonged to his grandmother. His grandmother had been a baker. She had taught him that bread was the oldest weapon. She had taught him that patience was the sharpest blade. You did good, Lena. His voice was soft, unhurried, the kind of voice that belonged in a kitchen. I voided 47 treaties, Jamal. I didn't bring back 143 people. No, but you made sure it can't happen again. Not to us. Not to the Pelorians, not to the Zalorians. He handed her a mug. The Empire will think twice before they attack another children's home. Lena took the mug. The tea was hot, perfect temperature. Jamal always knew. The Empire will think twice before they attack anything. She took a sip. My grandmother used to say, humanity's strength isn't in our fists. It's in our kitchens, because a fist can be broken, but you can't destroy a recipe. You can only inherit it. She looked at the photograph. The Empire tried to destroy our orphans. Instead, they reminded us what we're for. We're not warriors. We're not conquerors. We're the species that builds kitchens in orphanages and bakes bread in cargo bays and smiles when the galaxy expects us to scream. Jamal raised his mug. And that is why they'll never win. Later, much later, Lena sat alone in her quarters. The candles were gone, the families were gone, the bread was gone. Only the cairn remained. 143 stones, 143 names, 143 breaths of smoke that had risen and vanished into the dark. She looked at her hands, 61 years old, wrinkles, scars, stains from tea and ink. These hands had signed 47 treaties. These hands had voided 47 treaties. These hands had lit 143 candles. These hands had placed 143 stones. The pen was on the table, the warm pen, the one that had arrived 47 minutes before everything changed, the one that had traveled 12 light years, the one that had been warm in her hand when she smiled at an empire. She picked it up, cold now. The heat from the diplomatic pouch was gone. The heat from the 12 light-year journey was gone. The heat from her own hand was fading. Soon there would be no warmth left, just cold metal, just cold stone, just cold memory. She stood, walked to the cairn, knelt. The stones were smooth, cool, each one different, each one from a different world, each one a story, each one a life. She placed the pen on the cairn, beside the 143rd stone, beside the name that had been read last, beside the child who had been forgotten by everyone except her. No speech, no ceremony, just the sound of a pen touching stone, just the sound of a woman breathing, just the sound of a kettle boiling somewhere in the building. No one had gone to turn it off. Maybe no one would. The next morning, Lena made bread. She had not made bread in 3 years, 5 months, 8 days. She had been too busy, too focused, too angry, too tired, too scared, too everything. But the kitchen was still there. The oven was still there. The recipe was still there. You can't destroy a recipe. You can only inherit it. She measured flour, added water, added salt, added yeast. Her grandmother's hands had done the same movements. Her mother's hands, her own hands. The hands that would pass this recipe to her children. The children who would pass it to theirs. The dough rose. She punched it down. It rose again. She shaped it into a loaf, placed it in the oven, waited. The smell filled the room. Bread, the oldest weapon, the oldest comfort, the oldest promise that tomorrow would come. That tomorrow would be better. That tomorrow would be worth waking up for. When the loaf was done, she cut a slice. Butter, a cup of tea. She sat by the window and watched the ships move. Somewhere out there, the empire was still standing, still angry, still confused, still trying to figure out what hit them, still trying to figure out how bread had brought them to their knees. Somewhere out there, the Pelorian children were coming home. Somewhere out there, the Zalorian survivors were whispering names. Somewhere out there, the Vreen were laughing again. And somewhere in a small room on Earth, 143 stones held 143 memories, and one cold pen, and the smell of bread that would never stop. No military codes were sent, no declarations of war, just 143 names read until the kettle went cold, just 143 candles extinguished one by one, just 143 stones placed on a cairn that would grow. She looked at the photograph. Her grandmother smiled back. The kettle boiled, the bread cooled, the pen stayed where it was. Outside, an oven door closed. The cairn held 143 stones and one cold pen. And somewhere in the galaxy, the Empire was learning what it meant to be truly alone.